Hello, everyone. It's Thursday. Welcome back. And we're going to continue on this journey of discovering and just uncovering the different generations and how they work in the workplace and how it affects the culture. All of these things are connected. So I'm excited to be talking about the boomers this go around. For you guys that don't know me and it's your first time tuning in, welcome. My name is Miracle Simeon. I'm the COO of Veaux Professional Services. We like to call ourselves Modern HR. I have over 10 years of experience in HR. I specialize in company culture, servant leadership, and HR processes. So let's get into what we are talking about today. So on the agenda, we have who is baby boomers, and then knowledge transfer, facilitating knowledge, workforce force renewal, and identifying key succession risk. So first off, let's just talk about who are the baby boomers. These are folks who were born from between 1946 and 1964. The name boomer actually comes from the boom and birth rates after World War II. It was like America just said, bet. The war is over. Let's have some babies. So, why are they the largest generation? Now, you would think like, why are they such a big deal? Well, the numbers that makes up the force behind them, and they are a force to be reckoned with. About 76 million babies were born during that boom, making them the largest generational group. Think about that, 76 million. Whew. So let's talk about boomers in the workplace. These guys have a reputation for a strong work culture. They're all about putting their heads down and working. They clock in the hours and they climb up the corporate ladder. They value job security, and many of them stay with the same company for years and sometimes decades. Okay, so let's talk about who raised them. They were raised primarily by the greatest generation, and some call them the silent generation. And those are the ones who lived through the Great Depression and they fought in World War II. So think about it. Their parents were all about resilience, grit, and the idea of this American dream. So that's sort of their mentality. And that's the mentality that baby boomers grew up with. How do they think now? So let's fast forward to today. And baby boomers are generally conservative, but diverse in thought. They have seen a multitude of shifts, a multitude of shifts in technology, society, and economics. And so that's something that to really point out with the baby boomers. I mean, they have truly seen a shift. Think about it. Some baby boomers out there like were definitely a part of like Jim Crow laws or just the things that happened back in the day. So you see it where a lot of them may not be, Snapchatting it up with their grandkids, but a lot of them are more tech savvy than you think. So operating in the current workforce. So, how they are fitting into today's work landscape, a lot of them are in leadership positions, making big decisions that impact us all. Some have retired, some, but many of them are pushing it off, either because they just simply want to, or sometimes, or majority of the times, it's because they have to. So there was all these studies about, how it would be this huge gap because there's so many baby boomers and this should be the time that they retire. Well, we found out that a lot of these baby boomers are not retiring. So they are still working. So we get to be in a situation where you see four generations present at the same time, which is a whole different dynamic. So we'll get into the next generation and then we'll also talk about how it looks to have four different generations at the same time in the workforce. So boomers are not just a huge part of history, they're an active part of our present. Understanding them helps us navigate the complexity of today's workforce. So the next time you interact with that boomer colleague or boss, you can kind of get an understanding of where they're coming from and kind of how they're wired. So, we've already tackled the importance of baby boomers in the workplace. Now, let's shift gears and talk about knowledge transfer. So, what exactly is knowledge transfer? In a nutshell, it's the process of sharing expertise, skills, and information from one person to another or from one part of an organization to another. Knowledge is information that is used productively. Let me just say that again. Knowledge is information that is used productively. It may be extremely personal and very often intangible, and it can be difficult to uncover when it's hidden. Why is it important? Why should you care? Well, with lots of boomers retiring and the new generation stepping in, you don't want that valuable institutional knowledge to walk out the door. Knowledge transfer ensures that hard earned wisdom stays within the company. And let's just talk about what is wisdom. Wisdom is the collection and application of knowledge. The application of knowledge. And it includes qualities such as experience, knowledge, good judgment, and character. It is very important to transfer that knowledge and that wisdom to the next generation. You guys know that I'm a millennial, and I feel like the experience, the knowledge, the good judgment, and the character is something that is kind of getting lost. So it's not just having the knowledge to do, A, B, and C, but the wisdom behind when you should do it. And that good judgment and that character is very, very important. So we want to transfer knowledge to within your organization to the up and coming generation with those two factors in mind. So let's talk about some common roadblocks. It's not it's not easy. It is not easy, I know, because like I said earlier, it's personal. People people might be resistant to change or sharing. And sometimes this is the part that is um, a real challenge is that you are dealing with experts that don't even realize that their knowledge is valuable. So it's I was talking to someone today and trying to get them to understand that what you're looking at or what you're listening to when you're doing interviews is so important. Sometimes I get like, oh, I just know, like they'll say something, it's not a specific question that I ask, I just hear them say something and I just know that they may not be a good fit. But we have to kind of get that out of the person and quantify or just write down what are the things they're looking for to know that this person is the right fit. But the trick is to make it a part of your culture. So it's just not how things are done around here. It's this is the way we do. So embody that knowledge sharing culture within your organization. And it's to keep your company thriving. You've got to make sure that the wisdom of the experienced folks gets passed down because let's face it, no one wants to reinvent the wheel. Like, we don't have time for that. So, we're going to move to our next topic in facilitating knowledge transfer. It can be done. I just wanted it to preference that it is a challenge, but we're up to the challenge. Identifying the knowledge gaps. So, you have to first pinpoint where the gaps are. What crucial information or skills are only held by a few? Knowing this helps you focus your efforts efficiently. Map out the efforts. Identify who holds the keys to the kingdom, be it in technology, knowledge, customer insight, project know-how. We want to tap into their brain and just spread that knowledge around. You have to establish a clear goal. We need objectives, people. We need objectives. You guys have been rolling with me for a while now. You know I want an objective. Are we aiming to train a new hire? Do we want to simply improve the process? Or are we making a succession planning smoothly? Like knowing your goal makes the transfer more focused. And if the goal is to train a new hire, that is a different approach. If the goal is to just, pass down this process to the rest of the team, that's a different approach. So knowing the end goal in mind is very, very important. Choose the right tools and methods. Not all knowledge transfer is the same way. Some information is best shared through documents, while skills might require hands on training. You can do mentor to mentee setups, workshops, working meeting, but make sure you choose wisely. Open channels of communication. So, open door means open mind. Encourage sharing by making it easy to ask questions and offer insights. You can do this by, if you guys have Slack channel or your Microsoft, regular team meetings, one-on-ones, whatever works best for your team. Measure and adapt. How do we know it's working? Track key performance indicators related to the knowledge that we're trying to transfer. I know people say KPIs all the time, but there's a list of KPIs we can always track. So you even need to be strategic in what you're tracking. So that's why it's important to know the goal so you know what to track. If it is to make sure this new hire is up to speed on XYZ, then your KPIs better be tied to that new hire and that person that is training them. Very, very important. Don't be afraid to pivot. If something's not working, ditch it, try another approach. It's okay. We don't need to be married to nothing. If it ain't working, we about to adjust and keep it moving. Celebrate and reward sharing. Make heroes out of knowledge sharing, acknowledge and reward those who are actively contributing. Positive reinforcement goes a long way in the culture of sharing. So we want to create a culture around this. So we got to let our team know that this is important to us. We're talking about it in meetings. We're talking about it in our emails, and we're rewarding folks for doing what we expected. So let's talk about workforce renewal. It's not just about swapping the old for the new. It's about revamping your team to meet the challenges and the opportunities of tomorrow. So, what is workforce renewal? Let's be clear what I mean by workforce renewal. It's the ongoing process of updating your team's skills, attitudes, and even team members to adapt to a new market demand or technology. It's about it's simply about staying relevant. So, it's a big deal because the market is always changing. Technology is always evolving. Customers' needs are always shifting. If you don't renew your workforce, you're setting yourself up to become yesterday's news. So, we want to assess and plan. Before anything else, you got to know where you stand. You got to conduct assessments to identify skills gaps, employee engagement levels, and areas for improvement. This is a roadmap for renewal. So you got to do your pre-work first. And then once you have this landscape, you can see where your people are. The desired skill is supposed to be a 4, but you got nothing but 2s in your organization. So how do we come up with a training and a development plan to invest in upskilling and reskilling your talent? And this is about continuously learning is a must. And again, continuously learning can't be this one time thing when we're doing workforce planning or career progression. We got to create a culture of learning, and that's the best way to do it. Always create your culture of learning. Attracting new talent. Sometimes renewal means bringing in fresh blood. And when you do this, you want to focus your recruitment efforts on individuals who are aligned with the company's future vision, not just the present need. So, again, you need to know where you at and where you're going. I have to bring up phasing out. It's not easy, but it is a part of renewal. It might involve letting go of team members whose skills no longer align with your organization direction. And this is not just talking about baby boomers. If you have someone on your staff that isn't aligned with the organization's directions, but they have they got a lot of knowledge. The customers really like it. You need to start that knowledge transfer process, and you got to think of a way to transition them smoothly and respectfully as possible, because it is hindering the trajectory of your organization. And then, of course, you got to leverage the knowledge transfer. I just said that. So we do want to identify the key succession risk. And one of the things is this vacuum of leadership. I find if you're the CEO or other C-suite executives, who's in line? If all of you guys leave, who is in line to step up? And it's not even like you're leaving the organization. What if you have family or medical, something that you got to step away? Who's responsible to make those decisions while you are gone? You got to implement the transfer of knowledge for that to happen. High turnover rate. If there is a situation we're seeing now where people are leaving faster than you can replace them. So that's just a ticking bomb in itself. And then the dependency on external hires. If you always have to look outside for a new leader, you're not growing talent internally. That is a risk. And so everything that we talk about is in moderation. Yes, we want to bring in new blood, but that does not need to be your sole tactic to handle all of these things. There's always balance of what you can do and what you should do. So ignoring these risks is like ignoring a leaky roof. Sooner or later, it's going to cave in. So why is this important? Think about it. Boomers are walking, talking gold mine of experience, knowledge, and wisdom. They've been around the block a few times, and they have insight that you cannot Google. So as they move towards retirement, you got to make sure that this invaluable knowledge doesn't exit the building with them. So I know that was an interesting topic. I want to, of course, let you know that we have our cultural workshop, pop-up workshop for you guys. If you are interested, make sure you reach out to us. Here is our contact information. Feel free to reach out to our website or email us. We have some more topics that we're going to talk about when it comes to the generation. If you have a topic that you want to talk about, feel free to shoot me a message on LinkedIn or just write in the comments. And also, we are looking for people who would love to. I would love to interview and talk about culture and what it means to them and what they're doing in their organization. So I did want to put that out there. If you would like to be a guest and talk to us about culture, please reach out. Thank you again for spending your Thursday with me.